Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. So, a lot of you wanted me to go ahead and cover the Martian Missives lore book. It's a really fascinating look into the campaign of Witch Queen, and the mood that it intends to sow. The campaign is set to the backdrop of conspiracy, distrust, and disagreements on the very nature of what it means to be a Guardian. The Martian Missives lore book is entirely aimed at us as the player, with the intent of reinforcing this point in our minds. It's a brilliantly crafted little bit of auxiliary storytelling for the main campaign, and if you've not read it before watching this video, I'd encourage you to go ahead and take a read through it from start to finish. If you've not done that, I'd want you to go ahead and do that now, or perhaps simply strap in and get ready to watch this video. However, here's an even more special request. If you've not done the campaign of Witch Queen yet, I have a further recommendation for you. This lore book unlocks progressively as you go through the Witch Queen campaign. In each mission, whenever you get a triumph, unlock it and you will get pages of these lore books. Read them as you go. I never managed to do this because I didn't figure out how to do this and that I should do this in time. But I imagine that if you do read along with these as you get them during the progress of the campaign, it will greatly enhance your campaign experience. We're going to go ahead and talk about why that is in this video today, and we're going to cover some of the topics that have heads turning. Topics that include: who is Cayde 8? Is Osiris alive or dead? Did Osiris betray us? Can we trust anyone in the Lost City's leadership? And more. So, if we're going to talk about Martian Missives, I think it's worth noting that we should start at the beginning with what this all is. The lore book is a collection of communications sent to our Guardian over the course of the campaign. Each one is shrouded in mystery and is very much sent in secrecy to our Guardian. It reveals the potential feelings of characters within the Lost City and beyond, and starts to make us question our allegiances, even when its final chapter has been soundly put to rest. The book starts with a message from a remarkable figure, Osiris. This letter is clearly supposed to have been written well before we collect it and well before the end of the Season of the Lost, and yet it's meant to be read perhaps in the context in which we would have found it, near the start of the Witch Queen campaign, when we have discovered that he was indeed working with Savathûn, or perhaps was captured by Savathûn. You'll understand that particular use of phrasing when I read this lore entry. It's a fascinating one. May this message find you, Guardian. If it does, then you have once again learned just enough to be dangerous, and you are no doubt seeking guidance. I must preface all I'm about to say by asking for your empathy. I have dedicated lifetimes to studying the infinite permutations of reality. I have lived longer than any other Guardian by orders of magnitude, much of it outside what you experience as time. But with the loss of Sagira, the time I have left in a human lifespan is infinitesimal, less than a mote in the vast sands of time. All I have of value, my insights, my discoveries, my reputation, they are all rooted in my past, and I do not have the time left to accomplish more, not on the scale we need to survive. There are few beings in the cosmos who have seen time from the same depths as I have, and fewer still with the intellect to appreciate that perspective. Which is why I have made my deal with the devil. I have willingly submitted to Savathûn and allow her to take my place among the Vanguard. The Vanguard have fought like trapped animals for too long. They hoard secrets. Every fact they learn gets crammed into the barrel of a gun and fired at the heart of our newest target. We are losing this war despite individual Pyrrhic victories, and what pitiful harm Savathûn can inflict with our limited resources pales against the value of this opportunity. The Witch Queen sits on a throne of secrets, accreted over 1 billion years. While she huddles in the crumbling ruin of our city, I am left alone in her storied halls to learn all she has seen. Zavala and Ikora are dear friends and noble souls, but they are adventurers. They see immediate problems and crave immediate solutions, and their compassion blinds them to what can be won through sacrifice, particularly from a man who is, on the scale of Guardian lives, already dead. They would stop me, which is why I entrust only you with this knowledge. Keep my secrets and keep humanity safe with this unexpected ally. Do not let my sacrifice be in vain. Osiris. If we're to take everything we read just there at face value, then we have been betrayed. Savathun never took over Osiris by force, he was a willing supplicant. Learning of the knowledge within her throne world would apparently have been enough of a reason to justify betraying the Vanguard, so that he might maybe have been able to find a winning strategy against the darkness. But then again, dear reader, I would point out to you, oh so briefly, the Wolf-Tone Drawer and its lore tab. If you remember the words within that lore tab, then perhaps you'll know that not all is as it appears. If not, don't worry, things will become clear by the end of the video. The second entry is a communication from Eris Morn. I won't read this one in full, but it expresses her fear at the arrival of Savathun. It also contains a request for us to kill her if she begins to act suspiciously. This request is one made by Eris because she is aware that Savathun does not allow knowledge and secrets about her to fall into someone's hands without good cause or reason. Eris suspects in this message that Savathun is moving to manipulate her in some way, and requests that we should kill her if she begins to act in a manner that seems to be contrary to the best interests of the city. The third entry is a communication from Ikora, and it concerns her distrust of Finch. In the campaign, this is shortly after you've uncovered the identity of Finch, and it essentially states that Savathun almost certainly knows what he's doing and saying to us. The distrust at this point in the campaign is fairly self-explanatory, but in the next message, things take a wild turn for the unexpected. The fourth message is from Keitel, and it claims that the Cabal Ascendancy found Osiris, the real Osiris, and that he is dead. Degenerate fate casts us together once more, Guardian. How I have missed the thrill of pitting my Cabal against your unyielding tide of Lightbearers, truce or no. But it is in the spirit of Zavala's newfound truce that I offer you news delivered by my Cabal scouts. My forces recently recovered the remains of a human male on Nessus, vivisected almost beyond recognition using hive techniques and tools. Our science identifies the unfortunate as your Warden of the Infinite Forest, Osiris. While I will not divulge the details of our confirmation methodologies, rest assured they are thorough and accurate. This news no doubt will shock you, given that you are also in possession of another Osiris still clinging to life. But it is not him, despite the confirmation of his identity performed by Ikora Rey. Her admiration for her old mentor has already clouded her ability to recognize an imposter once, and it appears to have happened yet again. It is not custom among the Cabal to allow even a respected leader a third chance to fail their people. I don't know what purpose the Witch Queen could have in giving you a comatose husk wearing your dead ally's face, or what threat he may become. A listening device? A future mole? A living bomb? But understand this. When Savathun brought Xivu-Arath to my doorstep, she did so wearing the mask of a trusted advisor. What you hold in your tower is no treasure, and I have faith in you among your kind to handle this problem as a Cabal would. Empress Keitel. So if this is to be believed, Osiris betrayed us. And now this? The Osiris that we have in the tower isn't even the real Osiris? How can this be? Well, again, not everything is quite as it appears. All will be explained in good time. The fifth entry of the Martian Missives lorebook is also of greater relevance. It's an entry supposedly from Ikora Rey, and it reads as follows. Intentions, no matter how lofty, damn us just as thoroughly as our sins. My one responsibility to the Guardians, to humanity, was to keep our secrets safe. And I failed. Our greatest enemy strolled into the nerve center of the tower, and I showed her our beating heart without question because she preyed on my nostalgia. So now, you find yourself answering to a vanguard of one. In quick succession, the line of duty has consumed first Cayde and now me. Only Zavala seems immune to such tragedy. Is it simply luck, or is it ambition? For all his honor, Zavala was a brute before he claimed to hear the Traveler's call. But now I wonder if I didn't underestimate his cunning as well. Don't let my failures compromise your chance to save us all, Guardian. Humanity needs a champion unshackled from politics. You need to chase down Savathun's scattered memories no matter who tries to stop you, whether they're from the Throne World or the Last City. And be wary. If Zavala is a threat we didn't see coming, you'd be wise to watch yourself. Find insurances, ways to seem useful to him. Do whatever it takes to ensure your safety, just in case this jinx on powerful guardians doesn't end with me. Don't follow poor Cayde 8's fate. I trust you and you alone to follow this through. You're wily enough to stay ahead of our light-wielding enemies. Cayde 8. It almost seems like the parlance of the lorebook here is starting to fall apart. This seems like a mistake, a typo, or perhaps it's deliberate for another reason. Whatever the case, there cannot be a Cayde 7 with Cayde 6's death. A Cayde 8 is not possible for the same reasons. No, at very least, it's not possible in the way that people anticipate. It's not entirely clear if we could reboot Exos in the same way that they were rebooted originally back on Europa, or if a reboot done in the tower would add a number in quite the same fashion, but either way, Cayde 6 is dead, and Cayde 7 and Cayde 8 certainly are not coming back anytime soon. So, all of a sudden, the tension here has escalated dramatically. At this point in the campaign, Ikora and Zavala have had arguments about the way we're operating in the Throne World investigation, and it's getting to the point where we're potentially looking into a massive rift that's forming in the Vanguard itself. It's almost as if the Vanguard's two remaining members are potentially going to be in a place where they're both making plays for power in opposition to each other, a contest in which you might be a deciding factor. The sixth message contains messages that are supposedly from Toland the Shattered, the enigmatic observer of the dreadnought Dreaming City and the Moon, the one who went down into the deep, into the bottom of the pit at the base of the Hellmouth on Luna with the fire team that first went after Crota, the son of the Taken King, the Light Eater, the one who attempted to practice the sword logic, and who understood it. He essentially tells us to give up and to surrender to Savathun, who has merely adopted the same tactic of survival that the Traveler will enact. He tells us that she would be a fantastic ally if we could only lay down our arms and pledge ourselves to her service. The seventh message is a communication from Zavala that runs almost directly in counter to what Ikora told us earlier in her message. It talks about how she should essentially be replaced as Spy Master, and that we should be her replacement. He makes an argument for her slow and steady political retirement, as we would slowly take over her role as Spy Master, and it makes her previous messages about political machinations seem all the more potent. By this point in the campaign, you're about to face Savathun, and it all seems like things could fall apart for good even after you face Savathun the Witch Queen and untangle her from the Throne World and at what the time is above the Throne World that she has claimed. But then, things changed. As the Witch Queen is defeated, we're awarded the final lore entry in the Mars Missives lorebook, and suddenly everything that came before makes a degree of sense. The 8th entry is from Eris, and it communicates to us why all these messages seem so fraught with typos and strange spacing. They were full of lies. Ice strangles bare branches by winter, and yet roots churn unseen. Spring always comes, and with it the fruits of perseverance. Similarly, the books of sorrow burst with tales of the Witch Queen's cycle of death and return. So do not become complacent. Savathun is a cunning foe. I will only be shocked if her machinations do not continue to bedevil us for some time yet. You have bested Savathun, at least for all appearances. That is the only assurance we have in facing an enemy who works so subtly on so many different fronts. I still labor to uproot the filaments she spun into our intelligence networks during her tenure as Osiris. Thankfully, a great many have become more obvious without her constant maintenance. You should be aware that Savathun took particular interest in you, and I have uncovered her infiltration of hidden communication channels. It is likely that she is responsible for one or more false missives in an attempt to undermine your loyalties or redirect your goals, but her schemes invariably serve multiple agendas. While she works to sway with her words, she encodes secrets to erode your subconscious with a cautious eye. And so I recommend reviewing any communications you have received to search for unusual elements. Report anything you uncover to Ikora or me. If you've been reading through the book, you'll begin to notice the broken extra spaces in sentences, the numbers awkwardly substituted for words or letters where they really shouldn't be. And this, it would appear, is why. Savathun was the one who sent all of these missives, or perhaps just a few of them, and was clearly trying to sow distrust for us. Her deception is revealed, and yet, astoundingly enough, its damage is done. Because let's be honest, can you tell which ones are right and which ones are wrong universally? The ones concerning Osiris seem a little concerning above all others, and yet they also obviously don't seem true. But maybe the first one is. Did Osiris decide that he needed to take up this opportunity to sift through Savathun's knowledge and potentially betray us in the process? Is it possible perhaps that all the ones concerning the division amongst the Vanguard leadership were not true at all? Or is there perhaps a glimmer of truth within this one? Of course, there are some that clearly must be false. And yet, I'm going to leave it to you to decide and to see what you think. Just simply know that there are some bits and pieces that quite clearly were not written by Savathun, and in the process of doing so, she has ultimately infiltrated further into our networks, and is making us ask the question that we all ultimately have perhaps gotten a little tired of asking at this point. Who should we trust? Savathun is making us ask that question once again. But that's all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, and also remember that you can leave a note down below in the comments section. And of course, know that if you want more Destiny content, you can hit subscribe and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. But as per usual, know that your viewership is quite enough for me. I say this in every video because I know that sometimes people don't want to subscribe, or to like, or just to do anything. They want to sit there and enjoy their content. And if you are one of those viewers, thank you very much. We'll have more Witch Queen content coming out soon. But in the meantime, my name is Byf. Perodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.